Viewer discretion advised. Refrain from watching if you're short-tempered or get offended or annoyed easily, or if you're under the age of 18. Also, don't watch if you're touchy on the following subjects, such as mental health, suicide, firearms, veterans, dark humor, swearing, violence, war, small parts of political and world events. The host, co-hosts, and guests are not professionals, so anything mental or physical health-related topics mentioned on Asylum Arms, take with a grain of salt and contact your doctor or therapist for advice or questions on those subjects.
Welcome to episode 37 of Asylum Arms. Kay and people are arguing about fucking photos, apparently.
Not photos, the way I'm facing.
Well, you're facing forward.
Right, but I'm not facing you guys. But on your monitor, I'm facing.
Yeah,
I'm fucking confused.
Now you're not facing us at all.
What?
Yeah, you're facing the wall.
Okay, on my stream,
Yeah.
if I sit like this, which is facing forward,
Well, I'm facing your side, kind of.
my webcam's on my webcam's off to my left.
Oh, yeah. You're facing me
And this is
sideways.
on
You
my
want to be
right.
technical.
You know the best part about all of this is just going to be audio only, so nobody's going to
No
care.
one's gonna fucking hear this. They're gonna be like,
What
these
the fuck are they talking
motherfuckers
about? I
are
can't see
arguing.
shit.
These motherfuckers are arguing about where their face on the cameras when it's audio only.
Hold on, hold on.
Everybody that listens to the podcast going, we don't even know what these fuckers look like.
I want to try something. I want to see if I can invert this. Hold on.
Oh, Lord, we're playing Top Gun. How do you know? Because we were inverted.
Because I was inverted.
I gave them, the finger.
Fucking
Yes, I
Christ.
know the finger, goose.
Oh shit, I can't do it. I gotta do it on Discord because it's I'm not using the OBS for the webcam.
This is fucked up.
Wait, hold on.
All right, so Rex,
What's up?
would you like to tell everybody what's going on tonight?
So today's episode is gonna be a Q&A. We decided to do a random Q&A, but we didn't have a guest for today, so we're doing a Q&A episode. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask in the chat, and you guys can hop into the Discord call to ask them as well. You okay there, Kay? You need some help there? Just
I'm trying to
making
figure out how
sure.
to invert my camera on Discord
Who the fuck cares right now?
because you're facing me and I'm facing the wall or forward. It looks
Jesus,
fucking
I'm
weird.
used to
It looks
seeing
like
the
we're
back of
sitting
your
in a
head.
car, but you're in the back seat.
I'm used to seeing the back of your head. Shut up.
I mean, we weren't going to talk about that.
Well, we didn't. That's what our editor swore.
Wait, so can you invert the webcam on Discord? Is that even a
Define
possibility?
invert.
Well, invert. If I'm facing this way, I want to face this way.
No, there's no way of doing no, there's no way of doing that.
Define the.
It means the.
I think you would have. What do you use for a camera?
The 922.
I think you have to go into Logitech's fucking software to be able to invert it.
Do I? Hold
I
on.
think so.
I don't think you can invert it.
Should be able
Might be able to. I'm gonna look at it here. I have both the 922 and the 920. Of course, the fish is being on the 920 and Discord is on the 922.
Yeah, I use the 922.
Device settings. Disable this device in G Hub. No. What?
So the
Oh, yeah.
first 45 minutes of the show is Kate trying to figure out how to
Yes,
fucking become inverted.
It seems that way so far.
How was your day, Rex?
It was good. I did nothing really. I worked on a few Asylum Arms behind the scenes stuff, and that's about it.
Very cool. And UK, how was your day?
I worked, dealt with dumbasses. But I got a story for y'all because my last call of the day was the greatest fucking call of the day because it made me laugh so goddamn hard because one of the guys that I work with, I don't really know the guy, I don't deal with him personally, but the caller roasted the shit out of him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so she's this lady, so she calls, right? I'm not going to use any names, I'm not going to tell anybody who they're or who I work for or anything like that. But I do help desk for a major, like a Fortune 500 company. I do help desk, and if you ever know what a help desk is, it's basically just taking calls, going, turn it off, turn it back on.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah. And so this lady calls in, she's Russian fucking name,
Yes.
Russian fucking accent. Like skips words and shit. Like, yes, this is Russia. No,
Sounds like a fun one.
They skipped it. Yeah, it was great. So she calls. She's pissed off, like pissed. She's like, yeah, the guy that was on the phone before, you know, he wasted 10 minutes of my time. He doesn't know anything. He shouldn't be able to answer calls. So I'm having this problem. And I'm like, okay. I was like, okay, first let's start off. Like, what's the problem? We get into what the problem is. I log into a computer and I see what the problem is. Like, oh, it's a very simple fix. And so I'm trying to change things, trying to move things around. She's like, no, let me show you. I'm like, wait. Like, don't touch anything. Like, let me show you. I'm going to explain everything to you. And I'm going to show you. I'm not gonna make changes. I'm just going to show you what's going on. So she was like, okay. And I show her what's going on. I show her how to do the thing that she's trying to do. And she was like, oh, so that's all I got to do? I'm like, yeah, that's all I got to do. It took me 5 minutes to show her what the problem was, explain to her how to fix the problem, and then for her to completely roast this dude. Like, she did him fucking dirty. And I was trying not to laugh.
You're like, I want to marry you right now.
I mean, and she was like, yes, he needs to be training. He should not be on calls by himself.
All right, and
Stupid fucking American.
Yeah, he was like, she was just like, he shouldn't be answering the phones by himself. He needs to sit with a trainer. He needs to have more training. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Wasted 10 minutes of my, and she's like going off on this dude, and I'm just like, and then she tells me who it is. And that makes me laugh. What the thing is like, he was in our chat, in our main chat, getting help with this call. And she talks to him for 10 minutes, and I completely fixed his shit. And I was like, and she was like, what's your name? And I told her my name. She's like, I'm going to call you from now on.
Call you from now on.
Me and Putin call you from here on out.
Me Putin call you from now on. And I'm like, I'm like, it's a lot for me not to laugh because I have a great sense of humor, and she's like roasting this kid. And I put it in chat. I'm like, dude, this dude's getting fucking. She's burying this guy. And it was a great laugh. It was a great end to the fucking day because I woke up and chose violence today. And I just wanted to, like, I've already asked my boss if I can match these people's energy sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He says no. I mean,
well, you need to have a long talk with that bot.
He says no, rightfully so, because if somebody throws an attitude towards me and I have the right or the ability to throw attitude back, I guarantee you that shit's getting thrown back at you.
Well, do you remember? I think it was about 15 years ago or some shit like that. Somebody called one of the computer companies and was like, "My computer doesn't work," and blah blah blah. And you know, he's running through, and I mean, it was all recorded, but he's running through like all the things you got to do.
Yeah.
And then he gets to, ma'am, did you try looking in the back of it and turning the on button on the power supply unit? And she goes, yes, I did that. He goes, ma'am, did you possibly not put the actual plug into the power supply unit and into the wall? She goes, oh, that's a thing. He goes, okay, ma'am, here's what I need you to do. I need you to box everything back up, seal it, take it back where you took or where you bought it because you're too fucking stupid to own it. I mean, granted, he got fired, but they released the audio of that.
Yeah.
I'm fucking dying laughing when he pulls that one off on her.
I have dealt before I became help desk. I've worked with computers and I've worked at other places building computers and shit like that. Obviously, you know, everybody in my family has custom machines and shit. And before my first job doing like professionally working on computers and building computers, it was at this little hole in the wall computer store, like repair shop. And we would have old ladies come in. And I mean, I can tell you, like, we had a lady come in and like her mouse is all fucked up. And back in the day, you know, you really didn't have gaming mice. They were just like, you know, right and left click mice. And some of if you had to spend like a lot of money to get a gaming mouse.
They were expensive back then.
Yeah. So she thought her mouse was a foot pedal.
Yes.
I love this woman.
Because sewing machines have foot pedals. They look very similar to the old school mice.
Yep.
So she comes in and she's like, I just bought this thing. I can't get it to work. I keep stepping on the foot pedal and the little arrow moves around and things open and I just don't know what's going on. And I look at her, as soon as she says foot pedal, I went, right. Oh, what? She says the foot pedal. I'm like, and I'm looking at what she brought in. I'm going,
there's no foot pedal.
I'm like, where's the foot pedal? She was like, it's right there. Where? Because she doesn't point. She just said it's right there. And I'm like,
Right.
where? And so she picks it up. She's like, it's right here. And I'm like, ma'am,
God
That's
love
a-
you.
that's a
You
mouse.
sweet summer child.
Like, that's a mouse. She's like, why is it called a mouse? Because it's little and it has a tail.
Yeah.
You use your hand. And I had to plug her computer in and
And
literally
show her.
show her how to use it. And then she was like, I am so embarrassed. I'm like, no.
No, I'd 100% would have been. You should have been.
Yeah. She was a sweet lady. And I was
Of
just
course,
like,
of
and
course.
I'm like, no, don't worry about it. Happens all the time.
You'd be surprised how many times people come in with foot pedal problems.
Unfortunately, she did have to buy a new mouse.
Oh, I'm
Wonder
sure.
why.
You know she got pissed off one day.
She
and
got a
was
little
jumping on
heavy.
that motherfucker.
Yeah, she got a little heavy footed with her fucking foot pedal.
Oh,
I
God.
had another lady come in one time, and she puts her computer on the desk, like on the counter.
Mm.
I walk over and I'm like, so what's going on? You like viruses, computer acting up, what's it doing? She goes, it went boom and shut off. What else? Nothing. It just went boom and shut off. I was like, boom as like an explosion, boom as a pop. She's like, it went boom and shut off.
So
Anything
your
else
house-
happen?
Your house main breaker just popped, bitch.
I was like, and I was like, 5 minutes I spent with this lady going, please give me something.
Yeah, explain to me what boom is, please.
Yeah, I was like, boom, and it went boom and shut off.
Shut up.
So I took it back. I plugged it in and come to find out she blew a capacitor in the power supply, and I was like, oh, $40 fix.
Yeah.
Toss another one in there. I found one and it was like it's super old fucking HP.
Mhm.
And like the ones that had like 150-watt power supplies and shit.
Oh yeah.
Because their motherboard was like that fucking big.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But there was still 9,000 cables running through the damn thing.
yeah, like 50 million fucking cables, and you're like,
Mm-hmm.
if you can get past the dust.
Yeah.
They were
Oh
just-
yeah.
they were
That's
just, they were
the
just
worst part.
low speed vacuum cleaners, and I ended up finding like a spare junker that we had, tossed it in there, charged her $40, and sent her on the way.
Yep.
All
It's
right.
like a 200-watt power supply.
All right, so chat, people in chat, if you guys have any questions for the Q&A, you guys can put them in chat, but also you guys can join the you guys can join the Asylum Arms.
That's the Kari.
Okay, you can join the Asylum
I don't
Arms.
see Kari in my chat, so
Shut the fuck up.
Let's wait for that.
You can join the Asylum Arms waiting room, and we can pull you in. Also, to access that, you need to get the Asylum Arms role under roles as well. But yeah, you can join the waiting room.
What?
What? There's roles now in my Discord.
Are they jelly rolls?
Well, they're roles that you need to get to see channels.
are they
Yeah.
Tootsie Rolls?
No.
Yeah, they're
No.
Tootsie Rolls.
No, they're not.
Let me see
Sorry.
that Tootsie Roll.
I love Tootsie Rolls.
I don't give a fuck.
There's Kari. Oh, what's up, baby?
Kari is a mod here. This is true.
That sounded more like a sexual predator.
I mean,
What's up, Kari?
Hey, Kari.
Oh, we got our first question from Angel in Rex's chat.
Okay.
Question is what did you like best and least about deployment in the military?
Who's that directed towards? Or just both of us?
It's open mic, so it's anybody.
Wait, why am I inverted on fucking Twitch? What the fuck is going on?
Oh, it's the both of us.
yeah, mine's not deploying.
The both of us? Okay, you can go first. Wait, what is the question?
Okay, can you read that?
Question: what did you like best and least about deployment in the military? Oh, yeah, you can go ahead.
I guess best was deploying, really. Going to other countries, nations, whatever you want to call it, and being able to do the job that we were trained to do. Because I'll be honest with you, doing fucking field training and bullshit like that, that units do when they're not deployed, it gets tedious and fucking boring. And yeah, nothing new happens when you're out in the field just training. So being able to actually apply the specialty or the specialties and the actual things that we are supposed to be able to do, being forward deployed. I love that part. What did I hate or what did I like the least about it? Of course, it's being away from friends and family. CBs have it kind of a little bit rougher than Army. Definitely rougher than the fucking Air Force, because like they show up with like 5-star hotels that they can build. They usually call us to help them build it, but they've got AC and satellite comms and this, that, and the other. We usually deploy. We have no fucking communication with our family for probably a minimum of 3 months, depending on where we're going, before we actually get comms up. So for me, that was kind of the shitty part. That and like the food and being stuck in a fucking GP medium with like the stinkiest motherfuckers you could ever think of.
The showers aren't really a thing.
Well, no, the showers are there. They just like, oh, dude, I'm too tired. I'm like, oh, dude, you've been tired for a fucking month.
You've been tired for way too long. You're
You
not
haven't
tired
changed your
anymore.
socks in fucking 3 weeks, asshole. Trust me, we all know it.
Dude, you're ripe.
Yeah. There's a
You're not
reason that all the flies are hanging around our fucking tent.
So, I mean, I actually never deployed. I never got the chance to deploy. I dealt with a lot of deployment shit though. Dealing with the B1s. The B1s were always deployed. They were always going to like overseas in the sandbox. They were going to, sometimes they'd go to like, they would go down to Dias Air Force Base down in Dallas. Sometimes they'd go to the other fucking B1 base, which I don't remember which one that one was. Or they would be going to Guam or something like that, or some air show. They were.
I thought they had some B1s coming out of Luke.
I'd have to look again, but I know it was like there's Ellsworth Air Force Base, and I think the other one is Dias Air Force Base, but don't quote me on that. But there's only 2 main B1 bases.
Okay, all right.
There may be B1s at other bases. Like I know there's some that are stationed overseas, but their main duty station is Ellsworth in one more other place. So we had to deal with like kits and shit like that. So I think probably the best thing about it was literally just being able to work literally alongside B1. Like, because I went into the Air Force.
The motherfuckers are huge.
Yeah, they're huge, and everything about them is big. Like everything, and very expensive. Everything. So I wanted to fly when I went in the Air Force. The reason I signed up, the Air Force was.
Wait, you mean everybody that joins the Air Force isn't a pilot?
I know. What the fuck? But yeah, I mean, I wanted to fly, but come to find out I'm green-red colorblind, which is fairly common. And if you're if you're colorblind in any way, shape, or form, you cannot fly fixed-wing aircraft.
I mean, that makes sense. Green, red, colorblind. I mean, you're never going to see the stop signs in the air, the go signs. Yeah, you're totally fucked.
Yeah, stop signs, the traffic lights that they have hanging on the clouds and stuff. You won't see those, so you can stop your aircraft in time. You won't see the flashing lights of the police that are flying with you.
Those guys.
Yeah, those guys are dicks too. They're like the high patrol in the sky.
Yeah,
that's not a thing. Just so you know.
Fuck somebody over.
So no,
I'm waiting for after this episode airs.
There was going to be
somebody writes in going, "Wait, that shit's true."
They have stop signs up there. What?
We're gonna make that one fucking kid that ever sees this episode just look out the airplane windows like, where are they? I don't see them. Mom, they lied to me.
Mom.
They're waiting for the Mario cloud with the
stop sign on it, just fucking floating by.
Like, no, they don't have crossing guards in the sky. I promise. Well, that was probably like, so the best thing was like being able to at least work with the aircraft,
right?
Being able to literally be right outside. Like I could go outside the back of my dock where I was stationed at, and there's a bird 50 yards from me. I mean, huge fucking. All you see is like, I mean, there's a blast fence that shoots right up, so because they run APUs where they run the engines. But if you go around there, all you see is giant fucking engines. And they're probably 15 feet across or 10 feet across in the engines. I mean, they're just massive. The least part about that I didn't like was working with the aircraft.
So your job.
Well, yeah, it was like, so I mean, like the best part of it was my job. and the least part of it was my job, because when those
Fair.
planes are getting deployed, we have these things they call kits, and they're basically, we load these big pallets, and you've seen them. Cool. You've seen the pallets that go on like the C5s and the C130s, and just
3L.
Yeah, the big giant aluminum fucking pallet.
Yeah.
And you have like these
They're
big
made out of
bins.
aluminum and balsa wood.
Yeah, and they're heavy as shit. And we had to basically put them in the middle of the dock. And then you have 3 giant kind of like fiberglass plastic bins that are probably 6 feet tall. And there's 3 of those on a pallet, and then you have the like smaller ones on top of those. So we fill these things with parts, and they all have numbers, and you have to log everything, and you fill up like, I don't know, like 4 of these fucking pallets, and they're full of parts. And then you have to bag them with plastic.
Yep.
And then you have to net them. And there's 4 nets on the bottom, and there's 1 big net on top that link to the bottom ones. And you have very limited time to get this done. Because when they're like, we're leaving, you need to go with us.
Yeah.
So we have a day to get 4 pallets set up with all the parts they need. And if we don't have them in store, we had to go find the goddamn things.
Yeah.
So we'd have to go to the maintenance shops. We'd have to go to the fucking repair shops and stuff, all over the place and go, okay, where's all these fucking parts at? Get them all done. And then take this giant 14K forklift, big, massive
15K. Yeah.
15K forklift that would basically
Is that the one where they had the fucking actual top of the cab ripped off so they'd be able to fit into the aircraft?
No, we didn't have that one.
Okay.
The one we had was basically just in our dock, but it was huge.
Yeah.
To put into perspective on what it could lift, it could put a car on top of a car on top of a car, and then put those 3 cars on top of a building without worry.
As long as it had the extended forks on it, yeah, it's
we had the extended forks on it.
I'm telling you, it's fun to do because we did it to a fucking JO that was getting ready to leave our unit, so we came up underneath his fucking Toyota pickup truck, picked it up, drove off out into the fucking middle of nowhere, put it on a Connex box, and left.
All right.
Yeah, we had they had the big long forks on it because we had to deal with wing seals. A1 had wing seals because they have folding wings. And those things are like 13, 14, 15 feet long. And we had to pick these, and then once we get all the kits done, we pick them up on a pallet jack with the 15K forklift, drive them on the forklift, rear steer forklift, to a flatbed truck that was not near the dock.
Yeah.
And then put them on there and go back and pick up the other 3. And we had to do that all in a day.
Yep.
And that was the worst. And once you were done, you basically just didn't do anything because they had like 1 or 2 birds left at the base, but everything else is gone.
Right.
All right. We do have another question in chat, but before I ask this question, can one of my mods post the Asylum Discord link in chat? And then also Snow's question is, what do you guys miss about being in the military?
I guarantee you the one thing I guarantee you Paul can attest this, the one thing that we both can agree on that we miss the most about being in the military is the camaraderie and being with the people that you work with. Because there is no, and it's kind of, I know it's going to sound really fucking cliche and it's going to sound really fucking ridiculous, but there is no stronger bond than you have a guy that's next to you on both right and left doing the exact same thing with the exact same mission, getting the exact same shit done. Knowing that this guy has my back, this guy has my back, and I've got both of theirs. And you do that shit day in and day out.
I think one of the other things that I miss, especially like with the CBs and shit like that I dealt with some of the shenanigans that would happen. But going along the line of like the loading of aircraft and shit, we were getting ready to push out to Latvia, and the base that we were flying out of, we showed up, had all our stuff off on the side. I was the HAZDEC director and guy, so I had customs out there going through all our things and making sure everything's good to go, no hazmat, no whatever. And we look over and there's like 3 463L pallets, 2 Zodiacs sitting, on the flight line, and some dude like in a tank top, fucking diver shorts, baseball cap, sunglasses, sunburnt the fuck, playing in one of the Zodiacs.
What the fuck?
So we go over there, because curiosity is going to get to you real fucking quick.
Yeah, put it in perspective. Everybody else is in some kind of uniform of some sort.
Exactly.
And then there's
This dude
him.
sticks out.
This dude looks like he's on vacation.
Yeah, this guy is like he's at the beach, but he went to the wrong beach.
Yeah. So we go over there. It turns out it's one of the team guys. I'm not going to say which SEAL team, but one of the team guys. But he was one of the new guys. So that team was getting ready to deploy. So they had their stuff out on the tarmac waiting for the plane, and he was security for the stuff that was out there.
Security.
He had been out there for 2 fucking days already, waiting on a plane. So we got back to, we offered a water, whatever he wanted. He's like, no, I'm good. I still got some whiskey left. Whatever.
No, I'm good. I got some whiskey left.
Right. So we go back to fucking Little Creek, and we contact the team that he's with. And we're like, hey, we were just out at blah, blah, blah. We saw your guy still posted security with, your stuff out there. He says he's been out there for 2 days. Everything good? They're like, yeah, no problem. The plane will show up tomorrow sometime. And I'm like, what? My lieutenant's like, how long have you known this? Like 4 days ago. Like, I just looked over at my lieutenant. I'm like, God damn, I'm glad I'm not with that unit right now.
It'll be there tomorrow.
It's stupid shit like that we, that the units would do. That just, it's so fucking fun.
Oh yeah, we had a kid he was fresh off the plane. And in the Air Force back when I was in, if you didn't have rank, we called you slick sleeve.
Right.
Because
oh yeah.
Basically you had nothing, just a sleeve. It had a big crease in it.
It better have a big crease in it.
Back in the day, it should have better been. And he was a slick sleeve.
Mm-hmm.
He comes into the dock, and my sergeant, my first, I won't say first sergeant, my NCO, my immediate NCO. He's like, okay, I want you to take this guy, show him the ropes, have him do shit, have him do inventory, have him whatever, just keep him busy. Okay, I kept him busy.
Yep. I need you to go over the motor pool, go over to the mechanics. They'll give you a bag. Go get me a sample of the fucking exhaust for the fucking Humvee.
I told him we needed to find 100 yards of flight line.
Oh yeah, yep.
The maintenance squadron was looking for 100 yards of flight line.
We send the new guys up to admin and because they needed to fill out their ID10T forms.
ID10T forms. Go to the police, the cop shop, and get a sample of K9P.
Yep.
And maintenance call. They're looking for a metric crescent wrench.
Yep.
He was busy.
We'd always send our guys, because we had equipment operators and we had our mechanics.
Right.
So the new equipment operators like, hey, we need you to go over to, either the heavy shop or the light shop or specialty shop or whatever it was. And we're just like, hey, go over to the heavy shop, go get a CM punch, come on back. They're like, okay. Then they come back, they've got a fucking bruise on their cheek or some fucking bruise somewhere. That motherfucker punched me. Well, he's a CM, and I told you to go get a CM punch, so I guess you did it right.
My NCO was like, stop messing with him. All
right, we got another question. What was the biggest adjustment for you when entering the military?
God, being in the military.
I mean, there's that.
I mean, it's a
fuck you mean I can't do what I want?
What would you consider like a culture shock?
Yeah, it would be a culture shock.
A culture shock. Like, so when I went to basic, I went to basic training before Pool did. I can't remember that far back. It's fuzzy, but it's there.
It comes to me in flashes.
Like I recently watched the new Air Force where they get off the bus and they're like having the quick walkthrough.
Yeah.
And they're like, what the fuck are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
And they're having to like stand there and then like there's like a shitload of other people and like blues, and I'm like, fuck is going, like I'm confused.
Yeah.
Because when I went, you got off the plane, because you took a flight down to San Antonio. You got off the plane, and then you're like, they have signs. whatever.
Yeah.
So you go stand there like an idiot, waiting for this white bus, school bus, Bluebird school bus.
Yep.
I remember the
GSA
black
fucking bus.
I remember the black fucking bird right next to the door, Bluebird. And I'm like, the reason I remember that is because it was a black bird.
Yeah.
It wasn't blue.
All the lettering is black, but it says Bluebird.
It was Bluebird, and I'm like,
yeah, thank you, GSA.
Yeah.
The weird bus.
And then you get it's one of those buses that's a rectangle.
Oh yeah.
It's a flat front, flat back, and it's one of those weird ass buses where the guy is he's sitting over the steering wheels.
Mm-hmm.
And you get on the bus, and everybody's like kind of cracking jokes. Like everybody's like, "Oh, we're going blah blah blah. It's going to be blah blah blah." And we're having a good laugh and everything like that. And then we get there, and we're like, "Well, we made a mistake. You're going the wrong fucking way. Turn around."
Yeah. You
go.
Bus
driver was like,
"Oh fuck, it's real."
Yeah. You get through the gates, it's like, holy shit. And then you get off the bus. Now, when we got off the bus, it was right at where our flight would be, like where our squadron would be. You get off the bus, and you instantly stand in a formation. They tell you get in formation. Like the bus driver, and you have some TI yelling at you. One TI is yelling at you, get in formation. I went to ROTC, so I'm like dress and shit like that. I'm standing there solid, like I'm not moving.
Yeah.
And then everybody's like, and you can see the ROTC guys are just like, who was in ROTC, and the other people are like,
oh yeah, thumb at the fucking crease of their pants, everything.
And there,
yeah,
they're doing their dress. And you're like this, and the other guy's like, why is this guy yelling?
Why do I gotta wear a dress on the right?
Yeah. And the next thing you know, it gets really quiet. For a second. And it's deafening quiet. Like you're outside and it's quiet. It's this weird, eerie quietness. Because now the TI is no longer yelling at anybody. And all of a sudden, this is when I went to base training, all of a sudden, this door flies open.
And
a mob of TIs come out. And they are spitting, yelling, and cursing. And it's utter fucking chaos. And all the people that don't get it, that have never had any kind of military experience before, they're freaking the fuck out. And I'm just like, I ain't saying shit. I ain't moving. I ain't eyeballing nobody. I'm not looking around. And I'm like this. And the TI comes up. He gets the guy next to me, chewing his ass, telling him to dress. And the guy's like,
yeah,
he doesn't fucking know what it means. And the TI is yelling at him and telling him to put his fucking arm out, touch my shoulder, and turn this way, turn this way. And I'm just like,
you're just a fucking
gargoyle at that point. I am a fucking pole. That's it. I am a object at this point. He yells at this guy, walks by me, stops for a second, and I'm like, I don't fucking move. Because I know
in his head, he's like, fuck you.
Yeah, he's like, next guy. Fuck this guy. Because I'm like, if I move, if an eyelash falls off of my eye, it's over. I'm done.
Yep.
And he pauses for that second. I'm like, and he skips me and yells at the guy next to me to dress, and goes back on. And these guys are just, I'm watching, but not watching because you don't want to eyeball them.
Yep.
Because if you're eyeballing me.
The most cherished thing in formation.
You're literally staring at the back of the head of the person in front of you, but you're watching everything that's going on. And they're just bouncing from one person to the next. And these people, like, if you had no ROTC, no military experience, no nothing, you just went into basic training because for whatever reason, it is a 100% culture shock because you have never and you will never experience that in any part of your life except for that. Now, not so much. I watched the new one and I'm like, these guys aren't even getting yelled at, really. Like, these guys had their fucking smokies on that was down like this. I couldn't even see their eyes, and they're bouncing that shit off people's faces.
Yep.
Because they're, what the fuck is wrong with you?
You know that bitch has got like, one of them's like, I'm gonna put a razor blade right.
Yeah, I'm gonna cut this motherfucker.
I'm cutting this dude's nose off.
And you wouldn't think they're that hard, but they're like wood. I mean, it's very hard.
It's compressed fucking cardboard basically inside of it.
But they starch the shit out of it, and then they put it in a form, flatten it out, so it becomes extremely hard. And they're bouncing that off the bridge of your nose.
Yep.
And that hurts.
We have a question from Kari in chat. If you could relive any moment from your time in the military, what would it be?
Well, you were in longer than I was. You probably have way more experience than I do.
Oh, fuck. One moment?
Yes.
Yeah, you gotta pick one.
Okay, let me look at the Geneva Convention real quick.
What's my checklist?
Damn, one moment.
That's a hard one.
That is a really tough one.
Like relive. Like I know what mine would be.
All right, good. Please, because I've got a few, and I'm like, oh fuck.
I mean, I have like a bunch, but I think I have one, and it's from basic training. The day you graduate basic training, because you get like you go through this traumatic experience. It's a very traumatic experience, and I've had somebody say before that if anybody that's been in the military that went through basic training, they got out of basic training, went through AIT, and went to permanent duty station, has a form of PTSD because basic training is a traumatic event.
Yeah,
for most everybody. But when you get done, when you put your Class A's on, and you stand up there and you're full of like my dress blues, and I have a picture somewhere.
Mhm.
I don't have it around, but I have a picture somewhere of me in my dress blues. And you graduate and you get that diploma, if you will.
yeah.
It's such a sense of like accomplishment. Like
Yeah.
you completed something, because you see other people that don't complete this and they get washed out, or they get reclassed, or they get recycled back to a different flight multiple times because they just can't hack it. And they will keep your ass in basic training until you either A, get the fuck out of the military, which takes for bloody ever,
Oh yeah.
or finish basic training. The fastest way to get out of basic training is to finish basic training. But that sense of pride, that sense of accomplishment, that feeling of I did this, I made it through this. That was, and then when you're done, you look back and you go, that shit was easy.
Yeah.
I could do that every day, because every day was the hardest day in basic training.
Yep.
And then when you're done with the day, you go,
Your easiest day was yesterday.
Yeah, your easiest day was yesterday. And then you look back and you go, wasn't so bad.
Mm-hmm.
And then you finish, and then you move on, and then you go to your AIT, and then you go to your permanent duty station. But that shining moment, that accomplishment, that feeling of pride, I don't know if you could get that anywhere else, because of how tough that is.
I agree with that. I think, along the lines of that, you bringing that up kind of reminded me. So like in the Navy, every branch has that last big thing you got to do before you graduate. There's the crucible and this and the other. Well, the Navy has battle stations. It's a 24-hour event. The Navy had Steven Spielberg basically build the USS Cole inside of this warehouse, and it's a full-blown, full functioning ship. And you spend 24 hours on that ship. You do anything from radar to deck handling with the lines, the ropes, this, that, and the other. And then at some point while you're on there, they simulate what happened to the USS Cole. You get half your ship blown the fuck open. Now you're dealing with having to move ammo while the room that you're in, or the compartment that you're in, is filling up with water. You go into another section, the walls are on fire. You've got to suit up, grab a fucking fire hose, put that out. Then the entire ship fills up with smoke. You can't see in front of you, but you've got to try to escape. While you're doing it, you're looking for bodies. You have to perform all these different things. So when you first get to Navy boot camp, you get a baseball cap, and it's dark navy blue, and in gold letters it says recruit.
Yeah.
And you go through boot camp as a recruit. Well, when you finish battle stations, the entire division comes off of the ship. We all stand on the dock. We're all facing the ship. There's these giant fucking, screens up above the ship and in front of you. And all of a sudden, here comes Lee Greenwood's fucking proud to be an American. And here come your RDCs, RDIs, and they're holding baseball caps that say Navy on it, which means you are no longer a fucking recruit. You're officially Navy now.
Your camera went green.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, it's been flashing like that for a minute, or off and on. But this time it just went that way. Now it stayed that way.
Yeah, it's been flashing.
We'll turn it off and bring it back on. Hang on.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's kind of that moment, like, like even me, like I got choked up, hearing the music. And then all of a sudden, here comes my RDCs, my chief comes up to me and he was like, man, fuck you, Reed. And it pulls my fucking recruit cover off, and he puts the Navy cover on, and he just walks away from me. And the other two RDCs look at me and they're like, good on you, old man, because I was fucking older than all my goddamn RDCs anyway. Right. So I mean, I think that moment was really, really stood out. And you're right, I'm not going to be able to do that again.
No.
Ever. And I know that like graduating, the actual graduation day is like a really big thing for everyone, but I remember that moment more than I remember what happened at graduation. Because by that time, I mean, I was so fucking mind blown, brain dead, tired that even doing, during graduation ceremony, I knew my family was there. I was going to get to see them. I was going to spend time with my family off base, this, that, and the other. The only thing in the back of my mind was like, God, I hope we have a hotel room because I'm going to go fuck to sleeper.
The only thing only thing you remember from your fucking was from that was you scaring the shit out of them because of their father.
No, I was just, you're just so fucking tired. Like we were up, before battle stations, and then we had what they called an earthquake test, which is everybody lay on the ground, put your ear on the fucking floor, and wait for the earthquake. Tell us if it happens, which meant go the fuck to sleep, because when we wake you up for battle stations, the shit's on. So we did battle stations. We were up for probably 36 hours at that point. And then our RDCs were like, fuck it. Let's go rehearse how you're going to fucking do graduation right after this. So by the time we did all our marching and our parade and this, that, and the other, some of us were standing there, in formation, literally passing the fuck out, standing up or falling over, this, that, and the other. So no, by graduation day, all I cared about was just going the fuck to sleep.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, graduation day was literally like, you tired. I mean, you've been through even later on, like later stages in basic training, like you get to sleep a little bit more than you did before when you first got there. But you're still only getting like 4 or 5 hours tops, and that may be on a weekend by accident. Yeah, if you're lucky. Like if you're DI, like or your TI or your RDC, like if they showed up late to work. Like I remember my first night in basic training was a goddamn nightmare. Like they're like, okay, you get your bunk and you get you're set to go to sleep. You have you've had a busy fucking day because you got there early ass in the fucking morning or super late at fucking night. When I got there, we got there super early. I think we got there by 7 o'clock. So now you have to in process, get your uniforms, get this, and you get all this shit, and then you go to your barracks, your dorm room, whatever you want to fucking call them, and you put all your shit away, and then you do more shit, and then you go to bed. And you're like, thank God I can go to bed. And you lay down, and then next thing you know, the fucking TI is kicking a goddamn trash can down the fucking lane. Yep. And you lay down, and then next it hits the pillow, trash can flies down the lane.
Yep.
Yeah. And then you wake up.
Sounds about right.
And then you find out you've been asleep for like an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And now you have another 15, 20 hour day ahead of you. And you do that we did that shit. I think we did that for 2 weeks before we got to really sleep because of all the in-processing bullshit. And now I had a little bit different time because I had the security clearance that I had to finish.
Right.
So a lot of times where other guys were doing like drills and shit like that, I was having to march halfway across the fucking base to the intel office to make phone calls, to fill out forms, to sign stacks on top of stacks of paper. I memorized my social security number in 3 hours.
Oh yeah.
Like I had never knew what my social security number was until I got to basic training, and I memorized it like 3 hours. Okay. So it was like your last four. Everything had your last four. 7192, 7192, 7192, 7192. And then you had to initial here, sign here, initial here, date here, 7192, initial here, sign here. By the time I was done with the first day, I had hand cramps.
Oh well, then what will fuck you up? I'm assuming they did it in your time, but we'll find out. But you're used to in school writing the date a certain way, and then all of a sudden here comes the military, and they're like, oh no, hey, guess what? It's fucking year, month, and day. You're like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, and if you signed it fucking wrong, you got yelled at first.
Yeah.
Called a retard or an idiot,
amongst other things. Yeah.
Shithead, fuckhead, whatever the TI could come off the top of his head with, and then you had to throw it away
and start all over.
No matter how many fucking forms you've already signed,
start the whole packet. Over. Yep.
Because the packet wasn't just one sheet of paper. No. It was that dot matrix bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
That was literally a continuous sheet of paper. It just had more shit every single page that was this fucking thick.
Yeah.
I still have some of it.
Fuck that shit.
I have a stack of papers that like this thick. It's just literally just with my signature on it. It's that pink ass fucking paper with the blue fucking lettering.
Yep.
And I can literally turn the pages and go, I sign there, initial there, date.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass. You got yelled at for everything.
It was a fucking process, though. Holy shit.
Yeah, it was a process. But then you look back on it, it's like, it was kind of fun.
Oh, yeah, no. It was definitely fun. But
like now it's like, now you look back on it, you go, that shit was kind of fun.
Yeah, I know I bitched a little bit here and there, but I enjoyed my time.
That was one thing I didn't do in basic training. I didn't bitch.
I didn't bitch in basic training, but I mean, permanent duty station and some of the forward deployed places that we went, I know a lot of us bitch. I mean, if a CB doesn't bitch, he's not happy. So, you've got
we had some guys. We had some guys in basic that were just, God, dude, shut the fuck up.
Right.
It's so hard. I'm so tired. It hurts. Shut up. We're all tired. We're all hurting. We're all fucking pissed off and sleep deprived and fucking hungry.
Yeah.
So all the above?
Yeah, and we had some guys that just wouldn't shut up. That's all they did was bitch. And those are the guys that usually got recycled. Mm-hmm. They usually got in trouble. They usually got the whole entire fucking flight in trouble because they did something stupid because they weren't listening.
Right.
That's probably the worst thing about basic training.
So I have a question for you too. What was the stupidest reason you got in trouble in your time in the military?
Again, I'm checking with the Geneva Convention. This is legal.
Can I talk about this still?
Am I still under contract?
Is the statute of limitation run out yet?
Oh fuck. The stupidest thing I did to get in trouble. Oh, I didn't do it, but I got in trouble.
That's the first. I didn't do it.
100%. It was not me, but we were at a field training exercise in, where were we? We were in North Carolina, I think, maybe somewhere around there. And whatever, we're doing the whole CB thing. We're fucking fake, wartime camping is what it was. And we were playing, we were doing this exercise with the Army. We were playing football with the Army, which, by the way, CBs at the end or before the end of that deployment were never allowed to play football with the Army again because apparently we hit them too fucking hard. So our next fucking game was we would fill, 2-liter bottles with water, freeze them, and then everyone would go out in this field and we'd throw them as high as we could, and people would try to catch it. They didn't always catch it.
Well, I mean, they caught
broken noses and shit. Oh yeah, their nose caught the fuck out of it a couple times.
They caught it. Not with their hands.
But all of a sudden one night I was, I was getting ready to go take a shower, and I come out of the berthing, and like 5 people come running up to me. They're like, "Dude, you're fucking Evans," and I'm like, "What?" And they're like, "Dude, someone said that they walked in on you and Evans fucking in one of the empty whatevers," and I'm like, "What?" And like somebody ran to the chief and fucking told
Evans,
the chief and the
female or
lieutenant. Female.
Okay. I mean, it's Navy. I had that.
It's her last name, Evans. I'm not going to give away the fucking first name. And by the way, her name's not Evans anymore. Anyway,
I was just making sure if it's Navy. Can I ask you questions?
You know what? You can hope all you want. It never fucking happened. So, like they ran and told the chief. They ran and told the fucking the lieutenant that was there and everything. And like I'm getting my ass chewed the fuck out. You know, you're one of the older people in the fucking unit. You know better. By the way, you're fucking married and fucking some. And I'm like, time the fuck out. Are there more than one person, male, with this last name? Yeah. Okay. So let's put 2 and 2 together. And they're like, so you didn't do it? Nope.
Might as well now because I'm being blamed for it.
Yeah, I know. It's like, fuck, if I'm getting blamed for this, I really wish I would have at that point. So then, you know, everyone's like, oh shit, it's the other, you know, so and so. So everyone runs, you know, I guess somebody was outside the fucking tent when I was getting my ass chewed by the, you know, chain of command, and I brought that up. Well, now they go run and they tell blah, blah, blah. Hey, fucking Dead Sea Pool, that's not my name, but he just fucking narked you out for fucking, you know, fucking Evans. So they let me go. So I'm like, all right, cool. Leave that fucking tent. I'm still heading to the fucking shower because I got to take a shower. All of a sudden, the other fucking Dead Sea Pool's like, hey, dude, get over here. And he outranks me by like 3 ranks. I kept walking up and I'm like, what?
Son of a bitch.
He's like, did you tell everyone that I was fucking Evans? I'm like, no. Well, everyone says that you said that I was fucking. And I was like, no, I told the chain of command that there's 2 of us in this fucking unit and I'm not the one fucking, so they can figure out who the fuck it was at that point. You know, they could fuck up my career. Well, don't stick your dick in the bitch, okay? What else do you want me to say at this point?
Stop fucking people.
Angel's like, oh my God, I didn't realize it was a woman. Well, I'm not going to give out her fucking name, okay?
Thank God this podcast is 18 plus.
Dude, I'm telling you, like she had issues. Like our first deployment, getting ready to leave, she was ground guiding a tractor trailer into position. And she was standing directly behind the tractor trailer, not off to the side where the driver could see her, but Jesus. Directly fucking behind. And behind her is a 60-watt fucking generator. So if that truck goes, so if this truck goes too far back, she's squished. The truck's going too far back. What does she do? I'm going to put both arms out. I'm sure this will stop it. Snaps both fucking arms 2 days before we deploy.
That is shocking. That is so shocking.
The fun part was my NCO who was getting ready to transfer, so he didn't deploy with us. He had to stay behind, and she still had to show up for work. But she's got 2 broken arms. How the fuck she getting in uniform? His job was to go to her house and get her dressed. And he was like, that was the most uncomfortable thing in the world. He's like,
God, you can imagine.
Yeah, because he would show up and she's in her bra and panties with 2 fucking casts, and he's got to fucking pull her pants up and get her shirts on, and he was just like, dude, if I was like one of those guys, it would have been fine. He was like, man, that fucking sucked. And I'm like, well, she put her arms out behind a fucking truck.
There's people in the military that do some dumb shit.
So, Kay, what about you? What was the stupidest thing you got in trouble for?
The stupidest things I got in trouble for? I mean, I really didn't get in a whole lot of trouble. Like, I kept to myself a lot. I got in trouble, but it wasn't like when I got in trouble, it was because I got in trouble because I didn't do something or I fucked something up or whatever. But it was like, I just kind of kept to myself. Like, I almost got in trouble once for drinking at the smoke pit in Arizona. We weren't allowed to do that.
Yep.
Because the dorms, we weren't allowed to. It didn't matter if you were 21 or not. You weren't allowed to drink at the dorms during AIT.
Right.
In Arizona, we could drink at the bar, and that was like a couple blocks away. That was on base. We could drink there, or we could drink off base too. If you could drink off base if you were of age, you could drink on base if you were 18 in Arizona at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I was 18. You could go to the Class 6. You can buy booze at the Class 6 at 18 in Arizona on Fort Huachuca. So I go. We've been at the bar. It's a Saturday night. We've been at the bar for a few hours. So we're already 3 sheets to the wind. So we decided to go to Class 6. And I buy a bottle of Avalanche.
Oh,
And if you don't know what Avalanche is, it's basically blue liquor that has sugar crystals at the bottom. And the more sugar crystals it has, the more fucked up you get.
Yep.
Essentially, like, supposedly. So I buy the bottle of Avalanche, and we go to Subway, and I get a drink, get a food. I eat my food, drink my drink, and then I go,
Yeah.
the bar's closed. So I pour the ice out and pour the Avalanche in my Subway cup and put the lid on. So we go, and we're at the smoke pit, and we're just sitting there shooting the shit. I'm literally sucking Avalanche, this liquor, out of a fucking straw. Next thing I know, fire trucks show up, and the MP show up, and everybody's coming out of the fucking Air Force barracks. I'm going, uh-oh.
Hi.
Apparently, one of the fire alarms had malfunctioned and went off. So it cleared out the entire dorm. Fire trucks are over there. Firemen are out there. The MPs are out there. And I'm sitting there standing by myself at the sidewalk because we had to leave the smoke pit because of the fire. I'm standing on the sidewalk with my Subway cup. Fucking on the fucking Avalanche. Because I'm already fucked up.
Right.
My friend comes over. He was in the barracks. He comes over. He's like, "Hey man, can I get a drink? Let me get a sip." Because he thought I just had like tea or soda, and I'm like, "Okay, there you go." And he goes, "What the fuck?" He said, "What the fuck is this?" I was like, "That's Avalanche, bro." And then he screams it out, and then, like, all of a sudden, like, a whole bunch of eyes turn towards me.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, "Yeah."
It's mine.
This is mine. Shut the fuck up. But I almost got in trouble for that. Because somebody came up and he goes, "What's going on over here?" And I was like, I gave him a drink and he started choking. We're good.
The fuck, Jeremy? Don't you know how to have a drink?
Yeah, and he was like, because he was Army, because it's fucking MP.
Oh,
Like, "What's going on over here?" And it was like, I gave him a drink and he kind of got choked up. And he was like, "Yeah, I'm okay." And so yeah, I almost got in trouble for that. Needless to say, I didn't drink at the smoke pit anymore.
Right?
I didn't want to get in trouble.
So Angel has another question. What was the dumbest thing you guys did?
No.
That you can say without getting, your door broken down and put in a place you can't come back from. I see Pool mind's already racing right now to see where he can go with this.
No, it's not that. I did a lot of really dumb shit.
Oh, I know. I've heard stories off stream.
Oh, fuck. Dumbest thing I've ever done in the military. I fucking joined it.
Oh, I know what I did. I wasn't on base, but I was in the military when I did it. There was drinking involved.
All you, buddy.
There was a lot of drinking involved when I was on base. When I was in the military, I drank a lot. This one time,
lot.
I drink a lot of liquor when I was on military base.
lot.
It was I was stationed in South Dakota, and I had a buddy of mine. Oh no, I know another thing I did get in trouble for.
Oh,
That
there
was
it is. We cannot answer that fucking question. I'm telling
Funniest
you.
thing you ever. It's the funniest thing you never got caught for that you should have. I can't answer that.
No, I'm not answering that question.
There's a statute of limitations that I'm not sure has run out yet.
I'm only a couple years retired. I have to keep my mouth fucking quiet.
I've been out since '99, and I can't. I'm not answering that. I know something. I mean, I got something on top of my head, but I can't answer that.
Mm-hmm.
It has to deal with like security stuff.
Yeah.
Top secret shit. I didn't leak anything, but it has to deal with that shit. So the dumbest thing I ever did in the military was I had a buddy of mine. He was in the Air Force with me. He got out because I think they figured out that he was dyslexic while he was permanent party. And that's kind of a big no-no. Well, at least back then it was, and I think now you can get a waiver or some shit for you. I mean, you can get a waiver for anything nowadays.
Yeah.
But they found out he was dyslexic and he had some kind of like health problem that they didn't know about until he was stationed at Ellsworth. And so he ended up getting out, but he lived in South Dakota. His home was South Dakota. His parents lived there. They had a farm and everything like that, but it was way over on East River.
Okay.
And once in a while we'd have a 4-day weekend. We would just drive out there because I mean, we'd go hang out and we'd drink. He was a part of this little MC, this motorcycle club, and we'd have parties and have keggers and wake up in the middle of a fucking field somewhere and wake up and do it all over again. One night we were drinking, if you will, a lot. And we decided to go for a drive. We're just going to go for a cruise, It was all back roads. I mean, it was out in the middle of the fucking country. No cops, no nothing. What's up, Roshi? And we're driving along. And of course, at that time, it's like, beer me. And the guy in the backseat would give you a beer. I don't condone any of this. I was an idiot. So don't do this, ever. Don't try this at home, kids.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah, do as I say, not as I do. It was stupid, and we probably shouldn't have done it, but it was really stupid. And we're cruising down this fucking back roads, and my friend knows these roads. Like, he knew all of them. That's where he lived. He traveled these roads since he was a kid. And I'm driving, and next thing I know, I just shut the lights off. And it's midnight in the middle of the fucking nowhere. And I don't know if you haven't been in the middle of nowhere and turned the lights off. It's fucking dark. Like dark, like under the bed kind of dark.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we're driving. Now, luckily, this road is a straight road, and the lights are off. So my friend's like, "Oh, cool!" And he finds his mag light, so he like pulls the mag light out, turns it on. I guess he thought it would help. I don't know. I could barely see it. We're cruising. I'm doing like 40 miles an hour in this dirt road in the backwoods somewhere. Next thing I know, I see headlights coming towards me, and I get the bright idea of like, let them get closer.
And then I'll kick on the lights.
Yeah. And the car that I was driving was oil slick black.
Even better.
So, I got close. I clicked the lights on and watched this car go.
Yeah, right in the fucking ditch.
He didn't go in the ditch, thankfully. He swerved all over the fucking road. And so I'm getting away from this fucking car because I don't know who the fuck it is. He's like, just get the fuck out of here. So we get the fuck out of there. We turn down this other road. Now, the place that he lived, it was called Lake Preston, because that was near Preston Lake.
Yeah.
Right.
And
wow, thank you, Captain Obvious.
Yeah. So, and there was this one spot that we were headed towards. We weren't going there because we were just headed towards it. And he was like, "Man, you want to slow down because the lake's on that side of the road. It's also on that side of the road, and this is a 1-car lane. And it's not. It's kind of a washed out road. It's really bumpy. I mean, they have like little potholes like all over the place. And I'm like, what? What are you saying? I'm shit faced. I'm driving this fucking road. I'm doing like 40, 50 miles an hour. He's like, you might want to slow down. Like, you slow down. There's a fucking lake over there, and there's a lake over there. They meet right down here. And I'm like, huh? What? And I click the lights off again. And I hit this little fucking one, and it was basically like 3/4 of a lane because he was not shitting me. There was water over here and water over here. And I hit that, and it's only like 10 yards long.
Right.
But it's a fucking ride. I hit that at like 40, 50 miles an hour, and the car starts shaking violently, and the steering wheel's going crazy. And we make it out on the other side, and he's white knuckling the dashboard. And the guy's in the back almost throwing up. He's scared shitless. And then we get to a clearing and we stop. I'm dying laughing. He's like, dude, we almost fucking died. I'm like, but we didn't. So we're good.
You die.
So yeah, that's one thing I did that was really stupid in the military. Don't ever do that, kids. Ever. Bad for your health. Real.
I would say one of the dumbest, most costliest things I did in the military. It was back in Virginia on Little Creek, and I was part of crane crew for the amphib, and we were all standing out on the fucking pier. You know, we had a crane lift coming up, and you know the boat wasn't there yet, so we were all standing out on the pier throwing rocks into the water and everything, and we saw this. You know, if there's something underwater, it kind of leaves a little bit of a wake, little ripple effect on the fucking water, you know. Well, we're a bunch of Seabees. We see ripples, we pick up rocks, we start throwing at the fucking ripples. And we're throwing rocks at this fucking thing. You know, we don't know what the fuck it is. All of a sudden, here comes this fucking GSA fucking black truck flying into the back 40, like locks up the brakes, the vehicle sliding at us before it stops, and out jumps out this fucking warrant officer from one of the fucking teams. And he is fucking beyond pissed. We don't know fucking why. He's like, what the fuck are you guys doing? And we're like, throwing rocks in the water. That's what we do. And he was like, you're throwing rocks at our fucking, basically what it was a miniature sub that they use for fucking surveillance. Just so happens to have a fiberglass fucking shell.
Oh my god.
So we're throwing rocks at a fiberglass fucking Navy SEALs, you know, submersible fucking spy sub, blowing holes in the fucking thing to make it sink to the bottom of the fucking bay.
I'm picturing you like kids fucking throwing rocks.
That's all we were doing. We were throwing rocks at something that was in the water. We thought it was a fish. Fuck it, you know. So he's got us at fucking parade rest with a rock, you know, like we literally whatever rocks we had in our hand had to keep in our hand at parade rest while he calls our command, while this warrant officer calls the rest of his fucking command. You know, his upper chain. So they come down there. They also bring a couple of divers because they've got to get the sub out of the water now. Our chain of command pulls up. My master chief is beat red, but not because he's pissed, because he is fucking dying laughing coming from the head shed to the back 40, thinking it's a bunch of goddamn Alpha Company Seabees standing next to the water. Something moves in the water. Of course, they're going to pick up a rock and throw it in the fucking water.
The ADD kicks in. Like, ugh.
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah, it's like one guy goes, dude, there's something in the water. Like 12 of us go running over to the fucking pier and start throwing fucking rocks.
Let's throw rocks at it. Okay.
That's what our fucking plan was. So they, you know, after an hour of like the team's fucking chain of command is screaming at us, except for one of their senior chiefs, he didn't even get out of the car. He was fucking laughing so hard in the car. You know, my chain of command, you know, my CO, my XO, you know, fucking S7, everyone is just like, nah, 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 nah. Master Chief keeps turning his head because he's fucking cracking up. So finally they pull this fucking thing out and they bring it over to us. There's like 30 fucking holes in this goddamn thing. We busted the front fucking camera. I mean, like busted the antenna, smashed the fucking rotors, blew out the fucking, you know, obviously the fiberglass shell, totally done for.
Yeah.
And we're just like,
I did, you know,
that finally the CO just looks, what do you got to say? And we're like, hoorah.
Sorry.
No, we didn't even say sorry. We're just like, hoorah. They're just, and okay, so then, all right, I got one more for you. Same people got involved again. You're not supposed to fish at Little Creek on base, like in the bay, where all the boats are. We do it anyway. So me and a friend are fishing, and again we see this giant ripple going across the bay. My buddy's like, fuck it, takes the bait off of his hook and just starts winging his fucking his fishing line out to get it, you know, because I mean, we're fishing. He was like, dude, that's got to be a shark or some shit like that. No, it's a fucking Navy SEAL that's doing laps in the fucking
You kind of fish a Navy SEAL.
he fucking hooked into the guy's fin.
Just picture
So,
this.
you know, he wigs it out there, and all of a sudden you see his pole kind of go like that. So he yanks back, and I was here, what the fuck? He throws his fucking pole in the water and fucking runs away. I'm standing there like, oh shit,
It was him.
yeah. Oh, okay. There's our dumb shit.
That poor Navy SEAL. I always wondered, kind of like, I always think back about that time I'd turn the lights on that guy or girl or whoever was driving that car. I wonder what they're doing. I wonder if they tell that story.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
And this one time I was driving the back roads, the fucking lake
Dumbass.
this asshole, all of a sudden this fucking car lights head up and almost made me fucking crack. I'm just wanting, I want to know the story.
Kari,
From their
to
perspective.
answer your question, that's submarine.
It was the Marine. What was the one thing I got trouble for? Drinking at the smoke pit.
I bet you two could go all night with dumb shit you did. Yeah. Well,
Oh,
not
yeah.
all night, because then, yeah, statute of limitation, UCMJ.
UCMJ. So, fun fact about the military: once you get out of the military, it doesn't matter if you get kicked out of the military or you get med boarded out of the military or you retire out of the
Retired.
military. They still own your ass for like 10 years. You can be recalled into active duty at any point in time within 10 years. So you really, like, some of the shit that like happened maybe in the military or in basic training and stuff like that, you can't talk about. Like, I know like certain things because I had a top secret clearance. And Paul, you had clearances too. I mean, you had
Mhm.
certain people have clearances. Not everybody has a clearance.
I'm
Even if you're
Or real.
dishonorably discharged, you're
Uh,
still held under
Yeah.
I'm
You're
rules
still held
and
guessing
regulations.
you can't talk about anything clearance until it's like made public. I'm guessing then.
Even
Certain things,
even then, it's you don't want to because say like, yeah, mine's passed. Like my 10 years has passed. Like that can't be.
Oh,
recalled at all.
Angel, I retired in 2020, so I've got
Yeah,
a
he's
fucking way
got-
to go.
That's 7 more years, brother. So yeah, even
And
like
then,
top secret.
oh my God, you should hear the podcast I'm gonna fucking do. That bitch is gonna be a week long.
Wait,
This guy.
I knew you.
This guy.
I knew you back when you were in the military still. I did not
Yeah,
fucking know that.
Yeah,
Yeah, they can call
I
you back.
started
They can-
streaming in 2016.
I know.
I was
Yeah.
still active duty.
Oh,
They can literally go. They can pick up a phone and go pack your shit, and they will. You basically go right back to what you were doing. Now, granted, there are some certain limitations. Like, Pool's probably too fucked up, like broken wise, body wise, to go back. On my 10 years is over. I'm too fucked up to go back anyway. My back and my knees and shit like that, I just couldn't handle it. But yes, they can literally call you back at any point in time for any reason. Typically, they don't. My grandfather got recalled for Vietnam.
Yeah, my dad got recalled during Desert Storm.
Yeah, so my grandfather got recalled for Vietnam as an advisor, but he was
Mhm.
active duty as an advisor because he'd
Yep.
been to Korea and World War II.
Right.
So he knew combat tactics and shit like that. So he'd already seen heavy combat.
yeah.
We'll see how they can
Well,
recall
I mean,
something.
Look at it this way. Angel, I may not be able to physically do, obviously physically do the job that I used to be able to do, but I could 100%
You could
be put
advise.
behind be an advisor, be put behind a desk, fucking, getting things prepped. I was a Hasdecker. I was one of the guys that, before something gets shipped, I have to go through, make sure that the correct paperwork is set for it, that it's going to clear customs, blah, blah, blah. That's not something that is like a real physical job.
Not
That's something
physical.
that's more just tedious
Yeah.
pencil pusher. Exactly, Roshi.
And then, but yeah, you can be medically discharged. Now, typically they won't call back anybody that's medically discharged, but if the need arises and you can sit behind a desk and you can fill out paperwork, and they need some asshole to fill out paperwork,
Especially if you're an SME, if you're a subject matter expert and
Uh-huh.
you're like one of the only ones that knows how to do that particular task, 100%, they will fucking come and be like, "Hey, dude, we seriously need you back."
I mean, you have to be like, and what they say, like, what is like 10,000 hours, and you're an expert at whatever it is.
Something
If you study it for like 10,000 hours or whatever, you're an expert at that subject matter, and you have to like know the shit. Like, you don't need a manual. You can literally go, you can do this, and you can do this, and you can do this, and you can do it here, you can do this, and whatever. But you have to have that kind of knowledge of it. But yeah, they can call you back for whatever reason. Typically they don't. But they can. I know Cynic got called back.
Cynic did?
Was it Cynic?
I think Cynic got called back to combat. I'd have to ask him, but I think he got called. I think he got called. Like, I think he got called back.
He was in Desert Storm, but I don't think that was on callback.
No, Cynic. You want to hear some stories about combat?
I know we've had him on our podcast.
Yeah, Cynic's got some fucking. I've seen some pictures that he took.
We have.
I had him. They were actually in my Discord. He put them in my Discord. I had him take it down because it triggered somebody. It triggered somebody's PTSD.
Yeah, guys, I'm pretty sure Cynic was episode 7.
Cynic's
something like that.
Yeah.
Cynic's one of those guys where like he went 20 years and he was one of those guys where he knew his shit and he saw some crazy things. Or even Deadly.
Mm-hmm.
Deadly MC. He saw some shit too. He tell you some stories.
We've also Cynic has also been on a few of our shit show episodes.
Yeah, Cynic's a good guy. Cynic's fun. I like Cynic.
Yep.
Deadly USMC. I think he's not Deadly USMC anymore. He changed his name.
He changed his name to
Granddad.
Yeah,
Deadly Granddad or something like that.
Yeah, it's like Deadly Granddad or something.
He's a really cool guy. He's the one that did. So if you look at the top of my stream, in the corner up here, he did the little fiery wooden.
I'm so proud of you. You're pointing in the right place.
Well, I had to look because I'm inverted on his stream. I'm on the other side. So on my stream, it's up in the right-hand corner.
Can you tell any scary stories, like shit in your pants stories?
Yeah, case sitting at a vending machine. I don't know the night.
Yeah.
Go ahead and tell that story. I gotta go grab some.
I can name that one for him right there.
You're scared like shit in your pants. Yeah, okay. So we had gone to the rifle range and we went to the rifle range. We did our shooting and everything like that. The range officers had left and there were supposed to be buses to come pick us all up. Now there's different flights out there. There's like three, maybe four flights out there. And we're all waiting to get picked up. Now, my flight decided that we were going to do some marching and practicing and stuff like that, while the other flights basically just fucked off.
Yeah.
And then when the buses did show up, they showed up with TIs. The Air Force, I want to explain TIs. The Air Force calls the drill instructors TIs, or technical instructors, where like your DIs are like your drill instructors, like for the Marine Corps and the Army.
So they're the same thing, just different names depending on where you
same
are.
Same thing, different names. So they show up on the buses and they see these other flights fucking off. My TI sees us in formation, practicing marching, right face, left face, about face, shit like that. And we're marching. And so he yells at us because they always yell at you for whatever. So he yells at us to get back on the bus. So we get on the bus and it's late. It's probably, I don't know, 5-6 o'clock at night. So we get back to the base or back to the dorm area and chow hall's closed. We don't get to eat that night. We had MREs at 9, 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. And we had one bag of MREs and we got to eat that, which is fun. I mean, I like MREs. I think most of them are pretty good. So chow hall's closed. We don't get to eat nothing. So we hadn't eaten. And by the time we get back, it's probably 7 o'clock. We hadn't eaten in
almost 12 hours.
almost 12 hours.
Yeah.
And we still have shit to do. Like we still have dorm to clean up, close the fold, because we have laundry service that we take our laundry down. Once we get it back, we have to fold our laundry, hang up our uniforms, polish our boots, straighten the beds, dust the floors, dust everything. So we still got another like 4 or 5 hours of shit to do before we even get to think about going to bed. And so everybody's kind of just like being real sluggish because, you know, when you're in basic training, you're burning fucking calories. Like you're burning thousands of calories a day. And so you need that food to keep you going. But by the end of the day, our stomachs are hurting. Everybody's stomachs is like growling. And we decide now that we need to get some food. We need to get something in our stomachs because we're not going to eat until, you know, 5 o'clock in the morning if we even get to make it to breakfast. So we all gather, me and like 5 or 6 other guys, we gathered around. We're like, dude, we got to get something. Like, we're all starving at this point. We're so fucking hungry. And so we, on our down below, you have to understand the way our buildings are shaped. The buildings are like have overhangs for the main floor, and outside it's basically just a giant walkway with like a bomb shelter in the middle. Outside of that, near our dorm, was a patio area that had payphones and vending machines. They had soda machines and they had like candy chip machines, like, you know, vending machines. Yeah. And so we gathered around. We're like, dude, we got to get something. Everybody here is starving. And so we take up a vote to say, okay, are we going to risk going down to the patio to get food from the vending machines? So the vote comes out, yes. Now we have to figure out who's going to go. So we end up literally taking straw out of the broom. And one guy who is not going to go, who's basically like I don't know, dorm chief or whatever, he goes, okay, you got to draw straws. Whoever gets a short straw goes. I draw a short straw. And I'm like, fuck. Because I don't want to go. Because if you get caught outside your dorm after you're supposed to be in your dorm, it's like the worst fucking thing that you could do in the base training besides hitting in TI.
Yeah.
So I take up a collection. We all have cash, like a little bit of cash, because we're allowed to go and get cash out because we get to go to class 6 and get like toiletries, toothpaste, you know, vitamins or whatever. We're allowed to go and buy certain things. So we all have a little bit of cash. So I take up a collection, and it ends up being like $20, $30 worth of fucking money.
Jesus.
And I'm like, the fuck, guys?
Right.
And this is before they had the dollar bill changer. I mean, I'm fucking old. Okay,
so
this is back in
this is like
'96.
$30 in like quarters.
Yeah,
and
this
shit.
is 30. This is like $20 in fucking change. Okay, like quarters, nickels, and dimes, and shit like that, because they didn't have the dollar machines like we do now. And
now they have the fucking swipe your debit card.
now you just go click, and it doesn't make any fucking noise because it's new.
Right.
These were old, ancient, and they made a lot of fucking noise. So if you've ever been to a vending
especially
machine,
you put in change one by one, click, click,
so yeah, if you
click,
put change in the
click.
machine, you hear it go down. It's not a big deal. But when you're not supposed to be there, with the risk of getting your ass completely and utterly handed to you and getting recycled because of this, and it's the dead of night, that shit is amplified by 100.
Mm-hmm.
So I put all this change
off the walls and everything.
Oh, yeah.
else.
Echoes,
Corridors.
yeah, like you're listening to it and you're going, holy shit, the people on the other side of the base can hear me getting chipped right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, how am I going to get away with this? So I go downstairs and I'm like, Mission Impossible this shit. Like, I am fucking Ninja Man at this point. I am looking around corners. I take a few steps. I stop. Take a few steps and I stop. I get next to a pillar and I'm like, because I'm not trying to get caught.
Right.
And sometimes these TIs, they just kind of like roam around sometimes. Sometimes you hear them, sometimes you don't. And I'm like, peeking around. I finally get up to the machines and I'm like, whew. and I gotta steal my stuff, steal my nerves. And I put that first quarter in. Holy shit!
Sounded like you rung a bell.
Yeah, it's like I'm running heavy machinery at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, how am I gonna get $20 worth of fucking quarters, nickels, and dimes in this machine?
Your better bet was just bust the glass and run.
Yeah, it would have been a lot faster for me to just like throw a rock at the glass and go hide in a laundry machine or something.
Right.
I don't know what happened. It just broke. So
Smell.
I'm putting change in this, and I would put like, and I was just getting a mixture of like chips and candy bars, anything that had just like high calories and stuff like that, just to get something in our stomach. And I'm like dropping shit in there, and I would do like the candy bar was like 75 cents. I dropped 75 cents. And then you hit like D3 and hit D3 and it's beeping. So it's like beep, beep. And I'm like, fuck. And then all of a sudden the little screw starts going and it's like, nah, 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 nah. And it's like, holy shit, could this be any louder?
And you had the item drop.
This sounds like a fucking Mack truck during a Jake break. And then it drops. The chips weren't that bad. They kind of just crinkled. It wasn't that bad. But the candy bars, god damn it.
They make it loud. Fun.
Yeah, I was like, I threw a brick at it. So the first one I stood there for, because I didn't think anything of it. I was like, I just put some change in there, hit the buttons, and watch it fall, and go pick it up, put it in my bag, and get to go. Nope, $20 worth. I'd run over there, put some change in, hit the buttons, and run back, because it's right next to the laundry place where we had laundries or washing machines, and I'd run behind the wall.
I guarantee there's at least one person that heard your ass and there's like, I don't care at this point.
I don't know. I never saw them.
I know.
But I would put the change in there, hit the fucking buttons, and then run back. And I would send them against the wall like this. My eyes closed, just listening like as hard as I could to hear the tiniest of footsteps. Because I'm literally, my plan is if somebody comes, I'm literally going to jump into a washing machine. That's the only place I can hide. I'm going to keep my shit because it's got my name on it and everything. Everything's got my fucking name on it. But I'm going to jump my ass into a fucking washing machine.
I'm just picturing Kay in a washing machine now.
Oh, I was going to. That was my plan. That was the only thing I could do to be completely out of sight. So it takes me, I think I was probably out there 20 minutes. But it felt like forever. It felt like hours. Because it was one at a time, and then finally I get done, and so far I'm so good. I haven't gotten caught, but I didn't take any chances. Every time I put the money in and pushed the buttons, I ran back to the wall, right next to the door, because if somebody came, I was ducking. I was out.
Right.
Fuck it.
Right.
They were gonna get a free candy bar or whatever the fuck was in there. I didn't get any sodas because I knew that shit was gonna be done. And then I get back up there, I ninja man back to the fucking barracks. And I get up there and my heart is pounding out of my chest because I was like, I knew I was going to get busted. Right. Like, there was no way I was going to get away with this. And then I get back up there and I just like tap on the door because I wasn't about to, because our doors, the dorms are split. There's a door here and there's a door across the way, like across the little hallway. The other door can hear people knocking on the doors. Even though they're big, giant steel doors, you can still hear it because it just echoes. So I just like tap on the glass. Like, I don't know what I had something. I just tapped on the glass and they let me in super quiet and they shut the door. And I'm like, I'm thinking I'm going to have a fucking heart attack. I'm like, what'd you get? And I just kind of dumped my little portfolio or bag out and I'm like, just whatever. And I grabbed like a Kit Kat, I think, or whatever it was. And they're like, how did you get away with that? And I was like, I don't fucking know. I was like, they were like, how bad was it? And I was like, dude, you've never heard a vending machine in the middle of night where you're not supposed to be there in risk of getting in serious trouble.
Right.
And so we ended up all like eating the candy bars and chips and shit like that. And we did it really quietly too, because they have a speaker in the dorms. That's why we had to be super quiet about it. Because the speaker could hear a mouse fart 3 miles away.
Right.
And they can yell at you. It's a two-way speaker. They can really hear you and yell at you at the same time. And so we're putting the bags of chips under the covers and just pulling them apart so they don't make any crinkle sounds. And then we're like in the back bay fucking just like eating them one at a time, like purposely chewing so it's not loud.
Mm-hmm.
Just so we can have something to eat.
Like dunking it in water to fucking make it softer.
Like biting a bunch of, like put a bunch of chips in your mouth and just pouring water in it. So it turns into just like mashed potatoes.
It's just this fucking Dorito dough that you're
And now the other part of that too is now that we've all eaten, but now we have contraband.
Yeah, you got $20.
You're not
wrappers everywhere.
You're not supposed to be down there. You're not supposed to have this shit, and you're definitely not supposed to be out after fucking lights, or it wasn't lights out yet, but you're not supposed to be out after you're already in. So you were like, we were all good. Like, if we got caught, we were all in trouble, and I mean like major fucking trouble.
Right.
And so we're like, there's only one guy in the entire flight that's allowed to be out after dark, and that's the guy that's taking the trash out.
Right.
So what we did is we took the trash can, took it to the back bay that wasn't used, as far away from that fucking speaker as we could, and we took all the papers out and we put all the wrappers in there, and we set the papers on top of it. And then we put like the dust and whatever else was in there. We put up, and we started piling things on top of it so it would compress, so it wouldn't be like a whole big full trash can, which should have been. And then that was also the way we got our letters out too, because we weren't allowed to mail shit forever. Like, we could only mail shit like maybe once a week.
Yeah, we always sent our letters out every Sunday.
So we mail them out every Sunday, but we would write letters, just quick letters to our family or whatever, friends and stuff like that. And then we would seal them, postage stamp them, and then we would throw them in the trash. And then our trash guy, when he would go to the dumpster, it was on the way. The post office boxes were right there.
Yep.
And so he would walk by, pull them out of the trash, dump them in, just keep walking. Like, it was like he was so smooth with it. I'll never forget the guy. His name was Martini. He had a tattoo of a martini on his chest. And I'll never forget that. He was the coolest fucking dude. And ignore it. Can't walk on keyboard. I was wondering what 7-4 meant. I was like, is he 10?
Yeah, I was kind of looking at it like, sure.
So we have all the trash in there. Everybody writes their letters. We throw them in the garbage. And he goes out and he tosses the mail in, throws the trash out, and TI's never found out. But my God, that was a stressful fucking night.
Dude,
I still can't believe I guess. Oh, dude, yeah. I was terrified. I just knew I knew I was gonna put one coin in, and there was gonna be like a TI go, like, just all of a sudden,
500 of them just fucking,
just a puff of smoke, and there's a fucking TI there. I was waiting for that to happen. But yeah, I never got fucking caught, and it was, and everybody was like waiting for me to get back, because they were like, it took me so long. They were just like, dude, we thought you got caught. We thought you got caught and you got recycled right then and there, and they were gonna come get your shit tomorrow. So yeah, that was my scary fucking. There's nothing else that I did in the military that was more scary than that.
I think for me, my hit your pants butt puckering moment, I'd say it was my first deployment. We got deployed to Haiti in, I think it was 2010, after they had that massive earthquake and tsunami. The country got fucking just hammered with everything. And we were, my camera froze.
It was.
I tabbed out. I
froze
tabbed
on
out.
Twitch, though.
Yeah, I tabbed out. That's why.
So,
well, I'm looking at who we're gonna fucking rain into, dumbass.
Oh, okay. Well, then I
that time
story.
already?
No, you say your fucking story. You fucking.
So, a small group of us were put together. We had to make a road. The earthquake devastated Port-au-Prince so bad that there were very few entrances and exits to the airport, and that's where all the military was coming in, everything else like that. So a small group of us, and by small I mean I think it was like 12 of us total, but it was like 6 people during the day, 6 people at night. Our job was to, basically clear and make a road, so supplies could come in and out of the airport. And I mean, we've been doing it for, you know, a couple of days now. And we heard that there was going to be this really big storm that was going to come blowing through. Lots of rain, you know, this, that, and the other. To kind of give you a little bit of perspective on the road that we were making, on the left side of the road was basically just like nothing. It was fucking open fields, this, that, and the other. On the right side, there was this wall. Well, on the other side of the wall was this, you know, another open field, but this is where a lot of the people that lost their homes and had nowhere to go and this, that, and the other, you know, 200, 300, 400 Haitians were basically living in what would be considered tent city on the other side of that wall. So, and then there was this little field where we had all of our equipment and we were again building this road. Well, this storm came in and it was brutal. Like, it was dumping fucking just so much rain that like we had to stop our operations, because you're not going to be able to, you know, like bring the graders in and the dozers in. You're not working with soil at that point. You're working in nothing but fucking mud.
Yeah.
So we stopped and, you know, like we parked all the vehicles and this, that, and the other. And I was with a buddy of mine. We were in one of the lead Humvees. Our chiefs were sitting in a pickup truck, you know, two vehicles back, and we're waiting for the rain to kind of stop. And it rained for like 3 hours straight. And finally it stopped. And we were like, okay, you know, our chief's like, we're not going to be able to do anything with this road, you know, kind of get out, chill out for a little bit. We'll see, you know, what's going on. We'll wait till it gets light out. We'll take a look at everything, because we've got to give, a briefing to day crew when we swap positions. Well, we get out, and I mean, it's a little bit of a drizzle, but it's like deathly quiet. You know, there's no sound whatsoever. Well, all of a sudden we start hearing these screams and groaning, and just, the only way I could put it is if you've seen The Walking Dead and you've seen, you know, the herd coming, and it's just this growling and moaning, and that's all we heard. And all of us were like, you know, like me and my buddy Rands, he's looking at me like, the fuck is this? And like, my first thought is, holy fuck, we're, you know, the apocalypse has just happened. Fucking zombies. Well, what had happened was, next to where we were, well, next to the tent city was a mountain.
Yeah.
Well, a fucking mudslide had happened and come through along with all the rain, and had washed tent city out. Well, now you've got 300 to 400 fucking refugees, and they've got nowhere to go, but they need help. And there's 6 fucking people on the other side of this wall that are Americans. Now they want help. So they come around the corner, and I mean, like, we don't have floodlights up, anything else like that. You know, we were only working with the light from the vehicle. So it's like pitch black. There's one street light somewhere down the road that we can, you know, kind of see a little bit of a glow and everything. And all these fucking people come around the corner and they're wanting help. Well, like, there's 6 of us. None of us are armed, by the way. So they're like, the only thing we had was a Gerber knife that was, you know, strapped to the fucking side of our belt or whatnot. So like, my radio goes off and my chief's like, get in the fucking Humvee, lock the doors. So I, you know, get in the back seat, and Rands gets in the front seat. We both grab the handle, shove them down to lock him, because we're in up armored Humvees. Well, then I look out the window, and there's this kid. He's got no arms, and he's looking in the window, and he's fucking moaning, and I'm like really going, oh fuck, the apocalypse really just fucking happened type of thing. So like, that was freaky enough, and we got the call to go back to base, you know, get the fuck out of there. The position's completely overrun at this point. So we go back, and you know, we get a plan together, you know, because we're actually doing this road project for the Air Force. Red Horse couldn't do it. Yeah, Red Horse couldn't do it, so they called us in to do it. So finally, Red Horse was supposed to be out there the entire time as their security detail, but they didn't want to leave the compound. So finally they agreed that, hey, we will send a security detail out with you guys to go pick up your equipment to bring it back, because we didn't want to leave it out there. You know, they were already fucking, you know, hungry and this, that, and the other, and the Americans left. So why don't we do, you know, fuck up their machinery. So we had to go back. And of course, we go back, and what do? They give the chiefs their sidearm. They look at us and they're like, just get to your equipment. So we don't have anything on us. And they're like, oh, don't worry. Red Horse is there. They'll protect you.
That's reassuring.
Yeah. So we pulled back up, and, we all jumped out and got to the back of the vehicles. Red Horse's little, I think it was like a 12-man unit showed up. They've got their M4s and their tiger stripe fucking camouflage, and their high speed, low drag at this point. And my chief's like, hey, each one of you is going to be assigned, your own security detail to get to your vehicle, get in it, and get the fuck out. Cool. She looks at me, she's like, you got the grader. And I'm looking across this fucking field. I've got the one vehicle that is the farthest away from fucking everything, closest to the wall where all the people are at. And I'm like, okay. And I look over at the tech sergeant that was in charge of the detail that came out, and I'm looking at him like, what you got for me, bud? And he's like, you've got airman such and such. And I look over at her, and I'm like, okay, let's go. And we start running the fuck to the grader. And then we start slowing down because there's a ton of people starting to, trying to cut us off. And so we slow down. I'm Billy Badass reaching for his fucking Gerber knife. The airman, she's got her M4, kind of up, kind of getting into the ready position. And the locals completely surround us. And it's me and it's her, and there's a ton of people around us. So like I've got my fucking Gerber knife. I'm like, I'm gonna fucking cut a bitch if they get too close. She's trying to keep her weapon in a ready position, but not an aggressive ready position. She's not, this, that, and the other. Well, we're back to back, and we kind of, we're moving in a fucking circle, watching everything we can, but we can't see everything. A guy leans out of the crowd, and the vest that she was wearing, it covered like from, I don't know, just above the titties to her stomach. It was a very small, tactical vest.
Right.
Well, this guy leaned out and stabbed her 5 times in the chest, then went back into the crowd. All of a sudden, my security detail is on the fucking ground. And the crowd kind of just like, I don't know, it was really weird. They kind of like just dissipated at that point. They all went back to the larger crowd. And so the only thing I could do was I literally grabbed the back of her vest, fucking brought her up into a fireman's carry, ran over to my fucking grader, threw her on the deck. I couldn't even get her in the grader. I just threw her on the deck, climbed up, got in the grader, headed, towards the main security detail, and where we were going, the launch site basically is where we're going to launch back to our base. Pulled up, tech sergeant was there. I'm like fucking hitting the horn, flashing lights, screaming, hey, you've got a guy down, basically, so they grab her, carry her off, and we head back to our fob. And I think that at that moment when she dropped, I think it was the point where like my butt was eating my fucking boxers at that point.
Making diamonds,
because I mean, like my first thought was to pick up the M4 and I'm just gonna, pray and spray we get the fuck out of this position at that point. But like I said, the crowd that had surrounded us had dissipated at that point. So my only thought was get her the fuck out of here. She survived. I found out, I think like 2 months later, she survived. She's got a pretty gnarly scar, whatever. But yeah, Angel, that would be my shit my pants moment. My very first deployment, definitely, sticks in my head.
Everything seems to happen on somebody's like first deployment.
It does. I mean, I've had some really fucked up shit on the other deployments, but I think that one like seriously stuck with me. I mean, I still go to therapy over, that situation. That's one of the reasons I don't like being in crowds. I don't, somebody gets behind me, I freak the fuck out type of thing. So
I don't like being in crowds for another reason.
I'll be honest with you, I don't tell that story that often. It's a very uncomfortable story. because I can see it. I can tell you the smells, everything. It happens. Like me talking about it makes me feel like it happened literally yesterday because I can remember every vivid detail of it.
All right, guys, we're gonna
I'm
rate
not
out
sure if anybody.
to stack up today.
I'm not sure if anybody in the military really likes being in a crowd.
No, you get to the point where it's just
Like I don't like being in a crowd. I don't like being in a crowd, and there's definitely like I don't sit with my back to anybody ever.
Yeah.
Like I go to a restaurant, I mean my back's against the wall, or if I have to sit in the middle or somewhere in the middle of the restaurant, I'm at the like my back cannot be where somebody can sit behind me.
Yeah.
Like if there's like a partition, I'm sitting against the partition. What's up, little? But there's a whole other reason why I don't like being in crowds, and I can't do that because it has to deal with the OSS. OSI, excuse me, Office of Special Investigations. Those creepy fuckers.
Well, guys, we are starting the raid. Thank you guys for showing up to this episode of Asylum Arms. I know it was different. Next week
we
will
had
have
to show up. You
guests.
told us.
Yeah, you told me to.
Well, YouTube. Yeah.
There's an option.